If you ever find yourself lost in the deep woods and the trees start looking the same, you're already too late. I didn't believe that kind of thing before. I believed in maps, in GPS, in logic. Now I know better. Because the forest doesn't trap your body first. It traps your sense of direction. It started with a hiking trip. 3 of us. Me, Aaron, Chloe. We picked Black Hollow Forest because it wasn't popular. No tourist trails. No crowds. Just miles of untouched woods. Exactly what we wanted. We parked at the dirt access road just before sunset. The air smelled damp and heavy, like rain had fallen earlier even though the sky was clear. The trees were tall, too tall. Thick trunks rising like pillars into a canopy that swallowed the light. Aaron joked, if we die out here, at least it'll be peaceful. That was the first mistake. Never joke about dying in a place that feels like it's listening. We hiked about 2 miles in before setting up camp. Everything was normal. Birds, wind, leaves rustling. But there was something missing. No insects, no buzzing, no crickets, just wind. And even that sounded wrong. Like it was moving through something hollow. By the time darkness fell, the forest felt smaller. Not physically, but mentally. Like the trees had leaned closer. We built a small fire. Chloe unpacked food. Aaron wandered off to collect more wood. He was gone for 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 30. I stood up. I'm going to check on him. Chloe nodded, but didn't look at me. She was staring into the trees behind me. Did you hear that? She whispered. I listened. At first, nothing. Then, footsteps. Not crashing through brush. Not random. Steady. Slow. Deliberate. Circling. Aaron. I called. The footsteps stopped. Complete silence. Then, from somewhere behind us, Aaron. It was my voice. Exactly my voice. Same tone. Same volume. Calling his name. Chloe's face went pale. That wasn't you, she said. My stomach dropped. Because she was right. I hadn't spoken. The forest had. We grabbed flashlights and moved closer together. Okay, I said, forcing calm. Sound travels weird out here. Chloe shook her head slowly. No, that was you. The trees creaked above us. And then, from deeper in the woods, Chloe's voice. Help. Soft. Distant. Terrified. But she was standing right next to me. We didn't sleep that night. Aaron never came back. We stayed by the fire until morning, convinced he'd return. He didn't. When sunrise finally broke through the trees, the light felt wrong. Dim. Filtered. Gray. We packed up and started walking back the way we came. At least, we thought we did. After 2 hours, we reached our own campsite again. The fire pit. The same fallen log. The same broken branch near the tent. Exactly where we started. That's impossible, Chloe whispered. I checked the compass. The needle was spinning. That's when we noticed something new. Carved into one of the trees near our camp. Fresh. Deep. 3 words. Stay with US. And beneath it, 3 tally marks. We weren't alone. And whatever was out there was counting. We didn't talk about the tally marks. Because if we said it out loud, it would mean something had been watching long enough to count. Chloe kept whispering, we're just turned around. That's all. We'll find the road. But her voice sounded thinner now. Like the forest was swallowing parts of it. We decided to walk in a straight line. No turns. No hesitation. Just pick a direction and go. That was the second mistake. The trees in Black Hollow don't grow randomly. They grow in patterns. Subtle ones. The trunks bend inward slightly, like ribs closing around a lung. And as we walked, I started noticing something worse. The forest wasn't silent anymore. It was breathing. A low, collective inhale through branches. A long, slow exhale through leaves. About an hour in, we found Aaron. Or what we thought was Aaron. He was standing between two trees ahead of us. Back turned. Still. Too still. Aaron, Chloe cried. He didn't respond. We approached carefully, step by step, and that's when I noticed his shoulders. They were too narrow, his neck too long, his arms hanging slightly past where they should, like someone had stretched him. Chloe grabbed my wrist. That's not him. The figure twitched, just once, then slowly turned its head. Not its body, just its head. And it turned too far. Far past where a human neck can rotate. Its face was Aaron's. Perfectly Aaron's. But the eyes were wrong. They were black. Not dark brown. Black. Like holes. And its mouth opened slightly. Help, it said. But the voice wasn't coming from its mouth. The sound came from behind us. We ran. Branches whipped at our faces. Roots grabbed at our ankles. The breathing of the forest grew louder. Faster. Excited. Behind us, we heard footsteps. But they didn't sound like running. They sounded like something learning how to run. Imitating the rhythm. Getting it slightly wrong. After what felt like forever, we stumbled into a clearing. In the center stood an old ranger station. Wooden. Rotting. Windows broken. I don't remember seeing it on any map. But we didn't question it. We just ran inside and slammed the door shut. The air inside was stale, dusty, and carved into the walls were words. Dozens of them. Different handwriting. Different depths. All saying the same thing in different ways. IT copies. Don't answer your name. IT needs you to look. IT can't crossfire. And near the back wall, 3 tally marks. Fresh. Chloe's breathing turned shaky. That's ours. A thud hit the door. Not loud, but deliberate. Another. Slow. Measured. Like it was testing the structure. Then, my voice again. Right outside. Chloe opened the door. She looked at me. I hadn't spoken. The voice came again. Closer to the door. Panicked now. Please, it's me. It's inside with him. Chloe's hands trembled near the handle. Stop, I whispered. The voice changed. Lower. Distorted. Not even trying anymore. The door creaked under another hit. Then silence. Complete silence. And that's when we heard something worse. Not outside. Inside. Footsteps. From the back of the ranger station. Slow. Dragging. Like something had been waiting in here before we arrived. Chloe's flashlight flickered. And in the far corner, between 2 broken shelves, a tall shape unfolded itself from the darkness. Too tall for the ceiling. Its spine bent sideways to fit. Limbs bending the wrong direction. And its face. Blank. No features. Until it saw us. Then slowly. It grew mine. The thing in the corner finished forming my face. Not perfectly. The eyes were slightly too far apart. The smile too wide. But it was close enough to make my stomach fold in on itself. Chloe stepped backward. Don't look at it, she whispered. Too late. It tilted its head, studying me the way a person studies their reflection. Then it copied my whisper. Perfectly. Don't look at it. The voice echoed from somewhere behind us too. Like the walls were repeating it. The creature didn't rush. It didn't attack. It simply unfolded more of itself. Its limbs lengthened, joints cracking softly, adjusting. Learning proportions. Learning balance. It took 1 step forward. Its movement wasn't wrong anymore. It was smoother. Closer to human. That's when I understood something horrifying. It doesn't chase. It practices. Chloe grabbed my arm. Back door. We ran toward the rear exit of the ranger station. Behind us, I heard another step. Then 2. Then our own running footsteps. But slightly out of sync. Like an echo that was catching up. We burst outside into gray daylight. The clearing looked different now. Smaller. The trees closer than before. the air thicker. I turned around. The ranger station was gone. No building, no clearing, just trees, as if it had never existed. Chloe started crying. "We're not walking," she said. "It's moving us." And I knew she was right. The forest wasn't something we were traveling through. It was something that was rearranging around us. We walked blindly again. No direction felt real. Every path curved slightly. Every gap between trees led back to thicker woods. Then we heard it. My voice. Behind us. Ahead of us. Above us. Calling Chloe's name. Calling my name. Whispering things we'd said earlier. Repeating conversations from the campsite. Laughing in Aaron's voice. Then crying in Chloe's. It was layering us together. Practicing. We reached a small creek. Finally, something stable. Flowing water. I remembered the carving. It can't cross fire. But what about water? Chloe stepped into the creek. Nothing happened. I followed. The water was freezing. Clear. And for the first time since we'd been lost, the forest went quiet. Completely quiet. No breathing. No whispers. No copies. We stood in the center of the creek, shaking. Then Chloe said something that made my blood run colder than the water. "It's waiting." Across the bank, between two trees, stood Aaron. Perfect Aaron. Normal proportions. Normal eyes. Normal stance. He looked exhausted. Scared. "Don't come back," he said calmly. But he was staring at something behind us. I turned slowly. In the reflection of the creek water, I wasn't alone. Something was standing right behind me. Tall. Faceless. Its head tilted. Its arm stretching toward my shoulder. But when I spun around, there was nothing there. Aaron's face changed instantly. His skin sagged. Eyes darkened. Mouth widened too far. And he stepped into the water. The silence broke. The forest inhaled sharply. And Aaron screamed. Not in pain. In transformation. His body elongated mid-step. Limbs bending backward. Skin tearing but not bleeding. And the thing that emerged from him smiled with my face again. Water splashed violently. Chloe grabbed my hand. It learned. The creature stood in the creek now. It had crossed. The trees began to move. Not swaying. Walking. Roots pulling free silently from the soil. Trunks shifting closer. Closing the gaps. There were no paths anymore. No directions. Just walls of bark and shadow. And the thing wearing pieces of us stepped closer. It didn't rush. It didn't need to. Because that's when I realized the final rule. The forest doesn't trap you by surrounding you. It traps you by replacing you. Chloe squeezed my hand tighter. Then suddenly, she let go. I spun around. She was still there. Standing. But not looking at me. Looking behind me. Her mouth opened slowly. And she spoke in my voice. "You're the last one. You're the last one." Chloe's lips moved. My voice came out. Perfect. Calm. Wrong. I stepped backward into the creek. The freezing water grounded me. Made things feel almost real. "Chloe," I said carefully. "If you're still in there, squeeze my hand." She didn't blink. Didn't breathe. The thing wearing her tilted its head the same way the other one had. Observing. Studying. Behind it, the forest shifted. Trees pulling closer. Branches interlocking overhead like ribs sealing shut. I finally understood the tally marks. 3. It always needed 3. Aaron had been first. The copy of him had been imperfect. Too stretched. Too obvious. It was still learning. Chloe had been second. Closer. Better proportions. Better voice. And me? I was the template. The last piece. The correction. The thing stepped out of Chloe's body. Not physically. It separated like smoke peeling away from skin. Chloe collapsed into the water. Her body hit the creek with a dull splash. Not breathing. Not moving. The shape that rose behind her was tall now, fully balanced, its limbs smooth, its face shifting between Aaron's and mine and Chloe's like it couldn't decide which mask fit best. Then it settled on me. Exactly me, down to the scar on my chin, even the slight bend in my nose. It smiled, and for the first time, it didn't look wrong. It looked perfect. The forest went still, completely still, like it was waiting for a performance. The copies stepped closer. "I get a leave," it said. Not whispered, not distorted. My exact voice. Calm, certain. "That's the rule." "What rule?" I asked. It smiled wider. 3 enter. 1 stays. 1 feeds. 1 leaves. My chest tightened. "You're not leaving," I said. It looked almost amused. "I already have." And that's when I felt something shift inside me. A memory. Or maybe a realization. We hadn't driven to the forest together. Not really. There had been a 4th person at the trailhead. A man asking if we were heading into Black Hollow. I remembered his face now. Tired. Pale. Relieved when we said yes. He had told us the trail was beautiful this time of year. Then he left. Smiling. Too relieved. He had been the one who left. The copy stepped fully onto the bank. The trees parted slightly behind it. An opening. A path. The first real path we'd seen since getting lost. "You understand now," it said gently. "The forest doesn't let you leave. It lets one version of you leave. The one that learns fastest. The one that copies best." I looked down at Chloe's body in the creek. At Aaron's distorted shape moving faintly between the trees behind the copy. They weren't dead. They were incomplete. Pieces. Feeding it. Teaching it. Correcting it. And I felt something cold crawl up my spine. What if I was already the copy? What if the real me was standing in the trees right now, watching this version step onto the path? The creature smiled again. And it reached out, placed its hand on my shoulder. Its grip was warm, solid, real. Then everything went black. I woke up on the dirt access road. Morning sunlight, birds chirping, normal forest sounds. My clothes were dry. No creek, no clearing, no ranger station, just trees. Calm, still. My phone had signal again. 1 missed call from Aaron. 1 text from Chloe. "Where are you?" I looked down at my hands. Steady, normal, human. I started walking toward the car. Every step felt real, solid, normal. But as I reached the edge of the woods, I heard something behind me. Footsteps. Not chasing, not learning, just watching. And deep in the trees, 3 figures stood between the trunks. 1 shaped like me, 1 shaped like Aaron, 1 shaped like Chloe. All slightly wrong, all slightly unfinished. Waiting for 3 more. I never went back to Black Hollow. But sometimes, when I hear my own voice echo slightly out of sync, when my reflection lags half a second too long, when someone calls my name from behind and I know no one's there, I remember the rule. 3 enter. 1 stays. 1 feeds. 1 leaves. And I still don't know which one I am. If this story gave you chills, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next nightmare.